We're used to words like carbon tax, the economy, and immigration grabbing the headlines. But what if I told you that right now, deep in the heart of New South Wales communities, we are facing a crisis that perhaps goes much deeper than these. Right now, here in New South Wales, there are nearly 1 million people living below the poverty line. Just under 1 million people living on less than $400 a week. This is a silent crisis of disadvantage. And if not addressed, it can be a vicious cycle that can be impossible to break free of, affecting parents, children, and their children, entire communities. And did you know there are nearly 250,000 children growing up with neither parent working full-time? These children and families lack opportunities and often skills, confidence, and knowledge to help themselves in times of trouble. They become vulnerable and disadvantaged. Take Catherine, for example. After escaping from domestic violence, she now faces life as a single mum to 2 growing boys and struggles to find work that allows her to balance childcare and make ends meet. Matthew and Jake saw things children should never have to see and are severely bullied at school. The boys now face the struggle of getting through school with no one there to truly listen to them. Currently in New South Wales, 27 kids drop out of school every day. That's 135 in your working week and nearly 10,000 a year. These young people are more likely to have come from low socioeconomic families, more likely to have low literacy and numeracy levels, and are more than twice as likely to be unemployed as those who finish school, making them reliant on our welfare system. From this point, there is often a downward spiral. The odds stack up against these children, positioning them to become the next generation of frustrated and rejected adults, raising frustrated and rejected kids, and picking up where their parents left off, continuing the cycle of disadvantage. This reality paints a pretty bleak picture of the New South Wales that we know and love. But even though the issues are complex, there is another way. And this is where YWCA New South Wales steps in. From our origins in 1880, starting out helping vulnerable single women just landed in Australia to find work, to save some money, get a roof over their heads and people around them, and through both world wars providing relief and accommodation for servicemen and women. We were there as waves of immigrants changed the face of New South Wales to become the multicultural place it is today, and into the 90s where we opened Y Hotel, whose profits help us run our community programs, and right up into the 21st century with our network of youth and family programs. We are still all about facing the crisis at hand and empowering people. Bit by bit, we are working to ensure parents like Catherine can help themselves and their children beat the odds and succeed. And this is what it looks like. We believe every child has a right to a good education and to learn how to be money savvy, to come to school with a full stomach and to have someone to listen and spend time with them who has a positive influence on their lives, helping them to reach their full potential. We believe every family has a right to job opportunities, to be able to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads, to understand their legal and financial rights and to learn how to be a good parent. And we believe every community deserves to be a friendly, safe and welcoming place, where neighbours know and respect each other, offering support to one another when times are tough. The difference with us is we put our beliefs into action. It is not just about handouts and quick fix solutions. The team at YWCA New South Wales are here for as long as it takes, determined to be a part of transforming specific communities across New South Wales that have a very high concentration of disadvantage, empowering people like Catherine to be able to help themselves, their families, and then their communities. This is the way to stop the cycle of disadvantage and to build a better future for New South Wales. This is what YWCA New South Wales is fighting for every day. But the responsibility isn't ours alone. A little piece falls on everyone's shoulders. It's time to look a little closer to home and join the fight against disadvantage that's happening in our own backyard. So now you know what's at stake, how will you get involved?